see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight. We have the world in our sight, and I know together we'll be alright. Can you see forever we will go?
Hello, hello, hello. It has been so long since I've streamed. I had the idea of it being a super important update for Bloxburg. And I said, you know what? We've got 24 hours left on this map, and I wanted to make it special and come hang out with the community and the players, and thought it would be a bunch of fun. So here we are. I will apologize in advance. It has been so long. I am a little rusty with all the software. I cannot promise that everything is going to go correctly, but I need you guys to let me know if things are too loud, if there's any mixing problems. I can't promise that it'll go correct. Anyway, so if you guys don't know already, there is a meteor heading right towards Bloxburg. It is going to be destroying our existing map, and I figured we can make some memories here. Yeah. It looks like my stream's bitrate is lower than recommended, so not sure if I will be able to do anything about that. Hopefully it works, but we are going to be hanging out, checking out the map itself, making some last memories on here. I will be talking a bit about development. I will not be revealing more details about the map itself, but can probably answer some questions if it's not giving stuff away. So we will have some fun there. We can take questions throughout the stream, and I will decide what I will or will not say. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and open up my neighborhood. So if you want to join that, it is FroggyHopz with a Z. Some people get it wrong. And then we will go ahead and switch over to playing. And I will reset it throughout the stream, but it should be open now. Alrighty, let's make sure this works. Cool, cool, cool. I guess I can turn off my music for now. All right. As you guys probably know, we do not have the player list right now, so it'll be hard to see how many people end up coming in. But hopefully we fill it up here. I've got some special stuff that we're going to be doing. And yeah, to all of you commenting on the background music, I had to keep it classic. I think I was known for the classic no copyright EDM music. I used to cover the money. I did promise Capto that today was going to be a money reveal stream. So you guys can see right there, I do have some money, and I knew that it wasn't going to be covered. I think it's been a long time question on if devs have commands. We do in fact have commands, so it doesn't just have a big infinity symbol, but we can have money and block bucks, and life is good when you're a dev in a game. You don't have to go work as hard. So there's my flex of the day. And then I've also got some cool stuff that I'm going to pull out of the inventory. Now face reveal. Wouldn't that have been a crazy stream right before the big event? That would have been pretty wild. Adela asked if I will be touring houses. I will definitely tour some houses today. So I figure we would just, again, make some memories here on the map. That'll probably be going around to some houses. We'll look through some of the buildings. I know that I think Glossy put together a checklist. Hopefully you guys have been completing that. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put out something special, though, for everyone that's currently in the neighborhood. So if you guys have not ever seen these before, the developers of the game actually have a secret vehicle, and it is called the Monster Rote. So this is a special monster truck version of the Rote 500 in game. I'm just going to place these out everywhere. I think I've got like 50 of them. And we'll just let people drive them. Oh, it is not liking that. I'm just going to place them down, and then I'm going to give as many people permissions. I should have set the default permission, and I didn't. So that was a clown move on my end. Wow, the placement is not enjoying this right now. A little too fast. So if you're in the neighborhood here, I'm going to let as many people as possible drive these, if it lets me place them down. I promise the game usually works. At least we try to keep it working. How many monster trucks does one need? A lot. That is the answer. Yes, to Bram's point, I can spawn in more. If I can spell monster, I'll put down the last 10. It's going to be like a mad dash for people to go and claim these. I can just sense it. All right. Yeah, I definitely should have set this beforehand. It's fine. We're just gonna set people to roommate here. Go down the list. Someone asked, what's the neighborhood? The neighborhood is FroggyHopz, so the same as my display name and username. Just keep throwing down as many people as possible. I'm sure this is very riveting gameplay. I'll have to remember when I reset the neighborhood to change the default permission. But it's fine. Everything's fine. I do not have a roommate all command. That would be very helpful, wouldn't it? I should walk to the oh hi pick. We can do that. We can definitely do that. I'll show people if you don't already know what it is. I would imagine a lot of you know, but if not, we will take a little stroll. Walk down memory lane. I don't think there's going to be enough monster trucks for everyone. I got a little lazy and ran out of just typing the command. It's just kind of spamming it, but it's cool. Someone said this is awesome. Thank you for doing this before the map. I just thought it would be kind of fun. I figured it's been so long since I've done this. I think one of my favorite things about this last week is I have seen so many people in the community who I recognize or know personally that have maybe moved on to other things, and it has been awesome seeing so many people come back out and have fun getting in the preparations for the big event. I just see monster trucks going like crazy. The frame rate is so low. Oh yeah, people are going nuts. Yeah, so the funny thing about these is they have like very high suspension. So with this many players, it's definitely going to cause a lot of lag. We might need to lower it here in a bit and have less people. We can probably drop it. Someone asked, is there a part 2 UI change? So there definitely will be a part 2. There's probably going to be a part 3, maybe a part 4. So our plan on that is to continue rolling it out in different stages throughout this year. I did see a lot of people ask, I think we talked about this someone in the Discord server, but people asked, why did we roll it out in parts? And the biggest reason for that is that it is such a massive change. There's some stuff that we're working on now that's going to be coming later, such as the school, where it actually requires some of the new UI. But we wanted to focus on the parts that we would need for that right now. And then as we kind of progress through the year, continue to replace more of it. It also gives us the opportunity to bug test things a little more thoroughly at scale, as well as get feedback from the community. So. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people aren't even able to drive away from over here. We might need to go ahead and restart it now, unfortunately. Let's see. Let's drop it to like 30. Hopefully those of you that joined at least got a screenshot, maybe got a quick drive. All right, I'm gonna launch everyone just so that people can actually make it around as we do things on here while someone carries me. See y'all in a bit. Please say happy birthday to one of. I already did wish him a happy birthday, Phoebe. Of course I sent him happy birthday. He told me that you were making him still work on the patio though. So womp womp for him. All right, while people rejoin, I'm going to load a different plot just so it respawns all these. Say it again. Happy birthday. It looks like he's here as well. Why does he not have mod though? That's the real question. There we go. He's a liar. I've been spoiling him. SML Chess asked, are you a full-time Bloxburg dev now? So I am a full-time Bloxburg dev. If you've been around in the community for quite some time, you probably know that I used to work full-time as an engineer. So I stopped doing that about 2.5 years ago. So right when we joined Coffee Stain, I actually decided that we are going to basically go all in and focus solely on development. Why did my house not load? That's fun. Someone asked if I live in America or Sweden. So I live in the US, but I do travel over to our office in Sweden a fair amount. I really enjoy being with our team. It definitely helps. So when I'm here in the US, I usually wake up about 5:30 a.m. So I have some crossover with our team for a few hours in the afternoons. So I'm usually getting up, sitting in a lot of meetings and discussions with the team as we're going over all the development going on, all kinds of fun conversations. And then when I'm over there with the team, obviously I have more time in the day in terms of crossovers. I don't know why things are not loading at all. I don't know if it's just for you guys. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, that's fun. Looks like we had a really fun bug. Might have to restart the neighborhood entirely. That's awesome. See, this is the joy of game development right here. When you see all of these red and yellow things, that's usually not great. Neighborhoods always get a little funky because of the amount of players. Someone said, I have a question. Please put any questions in here. I'm trying to get people settled here in the neighborhood while also reading chat as well. It looks like I am unfortunately going to have to restart the neighborhood again. I am so sorry for all of you that got in. I'll say hi to everyone here. Pearls asked, does Quepus help with the game anymore? So he still weighs in as like an advisor. So him and I, as well as others on the team, we still talk to him very regularly. He always stays in touch in terms of what we're doing on development. So he still weighs in. He gives us feedback, advice. Sometimes we call him in emergency situations if something's not functioning or we need some input on some of the very complex code. It is a very, very large game in terms of all the programming. So that's fun. But yeah, he still stays in touch with us, but he is not working full time on the game anymore. Oh, I got taken away here. Hello, hello. Oh, the game decided to crash because of that. That's really fun. That's awesome. Okay, well, let me get the game back up. This is a really good look for the game. In the meantime, don't mind me. Why did they stop investigating the Bloxy Burger explosion? That's a great question. It was never really found out. I guess there wasn't enough of a trail. Good luck getting in my neighborhood now. Maybe I'll just steal someone else's neighborhood. Wouldn't that be a plot twist? Let's see if we can remotely kick it around. It didn't even save my settings change. Maybe that's part of my problem. Let's do this. How many plots will there be in the new map? So I think we talked about this in our last video. So we're currently going to stick to 12 plots. We want to kind of test performance on the new map itself. But like we talked about in the last roadmap video, the plan is to hopefully increase that once we get things stabilized a bit. So we're hoping that in the future we can raise that. Yes, I want to kick every single person from my neighborhood. What's my favorite speed build I've ever done? My favorite speed build is still probably my water park. I just really like the theming of it. It was kind of piratey. It had a few water slides, a big volcano. It definitely looks incredibly dated now. So it looks very, very, very old. But I was so happy with how that one turned out. Let's see if I can get into the neighborhood. What time will it release? We are releasing the new map at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. So if you haven't already, you can actually follow the live event. It's on the games page. It's got the big breaking news and the news anchor. So that'll give you an exact time in your local time zone. It'll give you a reminder, all the fun stuff. We're hoping that it's going to be a huge turnout. I think there's over like 300,000 people that have said, hey, I'm going to be there tomorrow. Hopefully you guys liked the first cutscene if you haven't seen that already. But super, super fun. I like how one of Josh is a mod and Phoebe isn't. That is so funny. I'll fix that. All right, let's see if my neighborhood, all plots are still occupied. Ah, I got robbed. It's fine. We'll fix this. We'll fix this. Hello, Drifty. Hello, hello. Show us the new map. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing that today. I will not be ruining the big surprise for tomorrow. But while I'm figuring out the neighborhood stuff here, I can talk a little bit about it. I saw a question earlier. Someone asked, how long has the team been working on the map? Well, maybe I can fix it. So the team has been working on this for a very, very long time. I guess it depends on what you count as working on it. So the new map is something that we've wanted to do for a very long time. Sorry to all of you here. I'm going to have to do another kick. And then I'm probably going to need to rejoin to get a plot. But anyway, as I was saying, it depends on what you consider as working on the map itself. That's something that Coeptus and we started talking about. We knew that we wanted to do something else for the map even back in, I think 2019 is when we really were like, man, we should probably figure something out here. 2020 is when I have a bunch of kind of early plans and notes, and we actually took that into the planning stages of this. 1 second. Let's see if I can just pop into someone else's neighborhood. We'll go to my friend Morgan's real quick. But we had a bunch of notes all the way back then, and we took those into the planning process. So we started, I think, working on the actual iteration. So one of the reasons I guess we didn't have the new map for so long is when it was just two of us developing, it was a huge undertaking. It was just too big for us to actively take on. And that's one of the biggest reasons we also joined Coffee Stain, was they've been a huge help in getting us a team to support the game. We wanted what was best for the community. Obviously, there's been some rough spots in terms of the transition and the change, but I think we're on a pretty good path now. But yeah, we wanted to do this map for a very long time. I think it's been one of the top priorities, top asks for players as well. So we started working on a map at Coffee Stain in late, I guess mid to late 2023. So we were working on that for probably about a year. And then as you guys also had the unfortunate news, so last year we announced, so I guess to caveat it, we actually were planning on releasing the new map when we went free to play last year. But it did not really turn out quite how we wanted it. We were not happy with that. It just didn't feel like Bloxburg. I know that's been the comment of so many people. We want it to feel like Bloxburg. Don't take away the feel of Bloxburg. And we felt like we didn't really have something that we could stand behind in terms of really improving the gameplay and adding more than what we already had. So we made the really hard decision as a team to restart the whole process of the map. If you guys saw last year, we also made some changes in the studio. There were a number of things going on in the team, and we kind of took a step back and just wanted to rethink how we were approaching things. So we restarted that process. So we've been working on the current map since the fall of last year. But we basically wiped the slate clean, and we really got into the rhythm of things. And I will tell you, this has been a huge team effort. So it's something that I have been so proud of our team. I think everyone has really come together on this. It has been so much heart and soul poured into this, and hopefully you guys really see and feel that. I think on my end, this is probably the most excited I have ever been about a Bloxburg update by far. And I am such a firm believer that this is going to do so much for the game now and the game's future. So it's something that I am thrilled about, and I don't want to give away too much. And I know that it's always a slippery slope of, oh, I'm so excited. But I can tell you guys that I am such a firm believer in what we're putting out tomorrow. And I think our team feels really good about it too. So we're hoping that you guys have that same excitement with all of us as well and end up really loving it. It's definitely going to be a change. It's not the same map that you're used to. I know that the UI has been an adjustment for people. I know that you're used to having the money in one spot. And we've made some adjustments, which I get it. You've been dealing with the same stuff as have we for 10 years if you've been a longtime player, or 9 years. And this is definitely going to be an adjustment too. But we're hoping that you guys feel as good about it as we do once you have a chance to get to know it and explore it and find all the new things to love about it as well. So that was my my ramble. Can I show the map that got scrapped? I am not going to be doing that. I think you guys, maybe we'll give you some time to see the new one. Maybe one day, but right now the plan is no. I do not think you guys would like it either. So I am going to, however, reopen my neighborhood and see how it goes with less people. See, the disaster tag is very fitting. When I had a bunch of people in here and they all got into the monster trucks, it was in fact a disaster. All right, I am reopening it now. Hopefully some of you guys are able to get in here. Never show that map. Don't show it, please. It's not worth it. It would have been an interesting one if we gave you guys that for April Fool's Day. That is for sure. We did show some of the content creators that existing map when we started filling them in on some of our plans, and we were showing them some of the early stages of the map. That's something that I actually saw someone ask about earlier, of the content creator program and what that's like. Would love for some of them to weigh in. I know a number of them are hanging out here. I think the really strong thing for the content creator program is it gives us a kind of a committee per se of people that we can show what we're working on. We can get feedback. The content creators are great about elevating feedback from the community. So when you guys are leaving stuff in their comments, when you're tagging them on social media posts, when you're giving them ideas for videos, they are doing a great job of sharing those with us as well. They also try to do their best to represent the players when they're giving us feedback. So when we're showing them things that are in the process, they've seen the map come from the very early stages, and I think that they can attest, and maybe we'll find a way to put something out in the future. But the process of this map, I think it has changed so much. I think Never Trust Bob, I don't know if he's here or not. I haven't seen his name in the chat yet. He's probably watching, maybe not in the chat itself, but he's our map designer. And he started with some very early sketches and kind of some early terrain work, and the map itself looks so different than what it did in probably December and January. And I think the content creators, it was always funny when we would show them. So we meet with them on a monthly basis to kind of give them a rundown of all the things we're working on, some of the things that they can expect, bring up any topics with them. And it's so funny to watch reactions of how much things change month over month. I think that they can definitely see all of the work that's going into things, and I'm sure some of them will talk about it in some of their content too. I am going to turn down my music on here. All right. You know what I did not do was set my default permission. Oopsies. I guess I turned down the music, but I did not turn down the radio volume. There we go. All right. Forgot what I was doing here. All right. Permissions. People need to be able to drive. So many people streaming. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be streaming tomorrow as well. So that should be a lot of fun. But that was actually one of the reasons I decided to stream today, is I want you guys to go support all of the content creators and the stuff they're going to be doing for the live event. And I, like Bram and some of the other devs I know are watching right now, we're going to be pretty busy making sure that things hopefully go as well as they can with the actual release. So that's going to be our focus, and I did not want to be streaming as we release on that. I want to make sure that we are doing our job as the devs to try to fix any issues as they arise. I guess one caveat, and the community managers will talk about this as well, but this is definitely the biggest release the game has ever seen. And what that means is that it touches a lot of parts of the game. So that means that there's a very high risk of things breaking, things going wrong. I'm gonna drive one of the trucks around too here. So yeah, it is very likely that there's gonna be some problems, and unfortunately that's just how development goes. We've been testing it for many weeks along the way, and unfortunately the likelihood of something going wrong is still very high, no matter how many times we test it with however many people. So we just ask for some of your guys' patience as we try to fix some of those things and adjust, but hopefully it goes as well as it can. What gave you and the team the idea of destroying the map using a meteor? So we actually had a brainstorm session with all of the team. We knew that we wanted to do some sort of special event and transition, and we looked at a number of things. We kind of landed like on the idea of a disaster, but we also wanted to be very careful of things that maybe reflect too much of the real world. And so we wanted to shy away from like earthquakes, fires, floods, since those do impact people's lives. Obviously, you see things like wildfires, earthquakes, hurricanes, tsunamis that cause a lot of real world damage and displace people, and we didn't want that to be something that was kind of disrupting the fun. So we felt a meteor, I know that it's kind of like a video game cliche at this point, but that was something that we decided we felt was done enough, but also felt like it still gave us a story to tell with the game itself, and we felt like that would be something fun to do. So all kinds of fun things though. Add a bread store, or like a bakery. That could be fun in the future. There's our beloved meteor, or as the community and PETA and some of the others have been calling it, the meatball. Appropriately Swedish. That's one of the good things when I go over to Sweden to our office. I have plenty of meatballs. I'll tell you, one of the things that I was very afraid of when I was first going to Sweden, so when we were in the final stages of joining Coffee Stain and I went over there for the first time, I'm somewhat of a picky eater, I would say. I think the team can attest to some of that. And I am not a seafood fan. And so if you've ever looked up where our office is, so our studio is Coffee Stain Gothenburg, and that is on the western coast of Sweden. So it's like a harbor, like shipping harbor city. And it's right off the sea there. And as someone who's a picky eater, I am not a fan of seafood. And I thought it was going to be nothing but seafood over there, and that I was just going to be starving when I went over there. But very thankfully, one of the big trends, at least in that part of Sweden, maybe more of Sweden, is that they really like smash burgers, and they also like Italian food. So lots of pizza places, some really great pasta places. And I was so thankful that I did not have to starve. So that was great. So if you've never seen this lovely, lovely home here, this is actually the home of one of our developers, our animator here. I think we've referred to it as like the upside down wedding cake. I've seen people in the community call it the tornado house. He crafted this so lovely. Keep driving here. Other questions from people. Will there eventually be additional benefits for premium Game Pass owners? I think that is something we'd like to look into in the future, of kind of what does the premium model mean in the game. But that's not something that we have on the kind of short-term roadmap. Obviously, we've been focusing on these really, really big things like we talked about in the last roadmap video. So if you haven't seen that, hopefully you guys have all seen it. Would make sure to follow us on our socials. The community managers are putting out all kinds of stuff on there. But if you haven't seen, so we're also working on the school. The school is not going to be coming out with a new map. That is something that we want to make clear to people. And I think there were some people in the community asking why that was. So one, it's a bunch of work to get it how we want it. It's unfortunately not just as simple as building the actual school itself, which also takes a lot of time. We've actually been working on the school, I think, since around September or October, and we hired a whole second team to assist us with that. So it's been in the work and the design process for a very long time now. But we also wanted to kind of give it the opportunity to shine on its own. I'm a firm believer in there can be too much of a good thing. So if we were to do a map release and also the school, it wouldn't really give them the opportunity to shine on their own. So we are planning to release the school, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, which right now we feel like we're in a good spot, but that can change by the day, that can change by the week. So we're still saying that we're targeting the fall timeframe. That's our plan, is sometime this fall. But we'll keep you guys updated on that if anything changes. Will the event be replayable if you miss it? Yes, so you will be able to replay the cutscenes the same way that you can on the current one. If you haven't already seen that, you can visit Tom and the table right in front of City Hall. If you want to see it again before the big bang, if we go out like the dinosaurs, as everyone says. Will there be any new game passes in the new map? We are not adding game pass. I think a lot of people were referring to what they're thinking will be new plots. If you didn't see our teaser, it did show that we are going to have 4 neighborhoods. So that's something that we're super excited about, but that's about all I'm going to say on that. But there will not be a game pass required for that specifically. Hopefully everyone's having fun here in the monster trucks. I've been reading a lot of chat. Will the town be bigger? The map itself is definitely going to be bigger. That's something else we also talked about in our last roadmap video. So it's definitely bigger. I think it's going to give people more to explore, more to do. That's our goal. Kind of the core of the map is we want it to feel even more like Bloxburg, and hopefully you guys will see what we mean by that. But we really want to tap into kind of the town feel, the exploration, and giving you guys some exciting places to build or roleplay. And that's something that I feel like we've done a pretty good job of. So super excited. One said go jump off the ramps. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, the content creators here, you see them talking about it's a big map. But one thing that we were trying to be very cautious of is not making it too big. I think that's a slippery slope of if it becomes so large that you have no idea what's where. So I feel like we've done a pretty good job of striking a balance in terms of the size. How many people can fit in a regular server? So I talked about this a little bit earlier. The plan will still be initially to start with 12 people, but that is something that once we have a feel for the performance of the map, because unfortunately we can only do so much testing to really see how it performs at scale. I think some people on Twitter did not believe us. I think people were looking at one of our job postings and someone said, oh, they don't actually have millions of players each month. We do actually have millions of players. I know that sometimes of the day it looks like there's not as many people on, but we do still have a lot of people that play the game every month. So when you have that many people, and a lot of our player base is on mobile, as with Roblox, so you've got a lot of people playing on phones, tablets, things like that don't necessarily have the power that some PCs and stuff do, or laptops, even some of the higher end tablets. We have to find ways of testing the performance and making sure things are as stable as we can get them. Obviously Bloxburg is a more detailed game in terms of what's called UGC, so user generated content. We love that our players get to build different things and all the things that come from that. But that's also something that's very difficult at times to manage. So if you've seen like plot data limits and stuff, some of that is also us trying to manage performance. So yeah. So hopefully once we get the performance on track and we feel good about that, we'll be able to increase the player count in the future. That is one of our goals, but there's probably still a lot of steps to take to get there. But we're working towards it. Abdul asked, what's Barrier 4 for? So they actually are the ones who have been working with us on the cutscenes. So that's something that I'll probably post about after the map update itself, but they've been our partner in helping us do the production work on the actual cutscene. And then they're also going to be supporting us long term with some of our social media content alongside our community managers. Oh yes, the great Roblox takedown of Bloxburg. So if you didn't see, the game was down for about 20 minutes on Tuesday. Thankfully, we were able to get in contact with the platform. They worked very quickly with our team to get it back online. But we are still working through some stuff on that. One of them is if you had a subscription in the game. So there were some players impacted that had subscriptions, and the subscriptions got canceled because of the game being moderated. So that's something that we're still working through actively with the platform right now. But yes, they did take down our beloved game, and I think players freaked out. We did see a lot of really funny memes and content from it of, oh no, the meteor hit early. We had some fun. I know that the community had a heyday with it, so. All right, it is still dark in here. If you guys want to see something crazy, you can actually change the time of day like this. Wow, developer commands, very cool. Wow. That way we can actually see. I think it is definitely going to feel weird of seeing a different map for the game. So different sites from your plots, different locations. We are going to have a mix of new and old. So there's going to be some locations that return as well. And I think it's still our plan. And we talked about this in the roadmap video. So don't think that you're getting too much exclusive information. But it is going to be our plan to continue to revamp stuff and rework things over time. But unfortunately, it's just a lot of work to do at once. I don't think people necessarily realize how much work can go into even just one location. Like when we did the Bloxburger location and all the jobs and the gameplay and stuff with that, that took multiple months of a majority of our team working on that. So that's something that we'd like to continue doing, but we just have to prioritize those things with all the other stuff we're trying to do for the game too. So if your favorite request or your favorite location isn't reworked quite yet, so if you see it come over in its old form into the new map, don't think that that's going to be the way it stays forever. Some more people are needing permissions. Let me fix that. And then I will reset the server here shortly too. Someone asked, is the public transport getting added with the new map or later in the year? So you are going to see some of this come out with the new map. We did share that as our plans. That is still the plan, unless something drastically changes between now and tomorrow. But that is something that is still the current plan, and we feel like it's functioning hopefully as it should. How many plots are on each neighborhood in the new map? That is not something I'm going to share today. I will leave a bit of mystery there. Is there going to be a live event? Yes. So we are going to update the servers live tomorrow, and you will see some fun stuff happen. All right, I'm gonna give everyone else a chance to join now. Thank you to those of you that were already in here, and goodbye. Will I ever post on Instagram again? Good question. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I've been trying to be a little more active on socials lately. I didn't think that I was going to be streaming again, but here we are. So I don't know. Potentially. Will the new map update cause lag? We hope not. That's something that our team has been really focused on. That's actually one of the biggest efforts, is trying to optimize the performance. And that's a very, very challenging task. I know I've seen a few other game developers here in the chat, but that's something that I think is rather difficult with a game of this size. But we've been trying to take as many steps as we can to make it perform as well as we can. That's something that our team is going to remain focused on as well in the future, of just trying to make whatever improvements we can. The platform also tries to help us when possible. So hopefully it's not too rough on you, but I can't promise that there won't be some changes in terms of how the new map performs versus this one. Can you get perms? Yes. Again, I did not change that. You think I would learn by like how many times I've said this? One of these days I will do what I say. I promise. What's my favorite thing about the new map? I would say probably the variety. I know that that's a super, super vague answer. Well, actually, I take that back. I will say my favorite thing about the new map, and I think the content creators, they can share their own opinions. They are not being paid to say this like some people are posting about on socials. But I think my favorite thing is that I feel like at its core, it still feels like Bloxburg. And what I mean by that is I think that it does a really good job of supporting what we want players to be doing in the game, of whether you're someone that's more interested in building. So there's things that are going to motivate you to really do some cool building. I think I just missed one person. Do not kidnap me. There's going to be stuff that I think really motivate our building community. And I think there's also things of someone just stole my monster truck. But I think there's also going to be things that really motivate the role-playing community. And hopefully, I think that's one of the big things that we've heard of, oh, we want more to do or see on the map. You all should be able to get into these monster trucks now, so feel free to grab one. But again, the feel of the new map, I think, is what I'm really, really excited about. I know it's crazy, but I think that the new map feels even more like Bloxburg. Maybe I am a bit biased. And I've been seeing this new map for a while, so I'm pretty used to it at this point. Obviously, I'm very close to the development of the new map, as is most of our team. Oh, someone took my truck again. That's fine. But yeah, that's my favorite thing about the new map. What will pizza delivery job be like with the new map? I saw some people freaking out about this on Twitter. I don't know if people think that we just forget about things like that. But any of the jobs that are on the new map, we have made sure to try to balance them and think about how the gameplay is on the new map so that it's not a downgrade to your experience. So that's something that our team is definitely focused on. However, I'm just going to kind of look at some homes. I recognize this one. Good old pre-built here. Hi, Josh. Happy birthday again. Bye, Phoebe. Did I see that we have 85.6 thousand concurrent users? I did. So I think that has been so exciting, seeing the game's player base really surge and come back this week. We've seen a really big incline. I think everyone's very excited about what's going to happen tomorrow, as are we. Our whole team is ecstatic about what we're going to be bringing live. And I am so excited to see how tomorrow's event goes. It's definitely a little scary too. Will the delivery job be harder because of the new map? I don't think so. That's something that, again, we've tried to think about, of any of the jobs that have gameplay there. Hopefully it's either easier or kind of about the same. But there'll definitely be some changes. I will give you that much. It's not going to be the same old, but don't expect like totally new gameplay in the jobs. More so just obviously changing scenery and locations and some adjustments just to get used to everything. Will we ever be able to change our plot location without leaving the current client? That is a goal of ours in the future. That's something that we've heard from players for years. And we're hoping that that's something we can do in the future, but we don't have any sort of timeline on that right now. That requires some bigger changes in terms of how we manage data, which is where things get super complex and tricky and also risky. So hopefully at some point, though. Will unlocked stereo be back? So unlocked stereo is a tricky one. I think some games are kind of circumventing it. But one of the reasons that we removed unlocked stereo is Roblox actually has a limit in terms of how many songs you can use under their licensing. So that means out of their catalog. So Roblox as a company partners with some music labels. And through that process, they cap, I think, at 250 songs and sound clips. So that also means like sound effects, stuff like that. So unfortunately, that makes it pretty difficult because that would mean that players are not able to. We'll just let this person carry me. That means that we would not be able to have like the song ID input, like what people were used to with the unlocked stereo. So that was one of the reasons that we got rid of it, and then gave people some rewards and compensation since we had to do away with it. Looks like we're gonna tour the starter houses here. Will we ever get hollow gable roofs? You know, I think that's the first time I've ever heard that request. No, I'm just kidding. That is definitely something that we want to do in the future. We're hoping that we can do that at one point. Oh, that's fun. I got kicked by the game. Looks like our auto mod had some fun with me. Well, that's cool. It's cool. Let me relaunch. It's fine. It's fine. Are we ever going to add smoke detectors, fires, or natural disasters? Maybe at some point in the future. I know that people want some of that kind of stuff for immersion, but I don't know exactly what that would look like. Definitely an idea that I know I've seen over the years, though, so I can't say for certain whether or not we would end up doing that, but I definitely know that that's something people have asked for. Are there 3 people in each plot? I don't know that I understand that question. Admin menu. Ooh, secret admin button. Ooh, scary. You guys don't have that button. That's the really big secret. Ooh. Let's see if I can get back into my own neighborhood. Well, this is going to be tricky, huh? Let's see if I can do this. Do this. We'll do this. Come on. Click it and you'll donate 20 pounds. I do not want your British money, Glossy. Very, very silly. How did Queptus and I meet? That's a great question. We actually met because I was an early player of the game. We developed kind of a friendship in the early days of I, like many of you, were giving him feedback on thoughts for the game, sending him bug reports, and eventually I started doing game development just in the Roblox space, and eventually we decided to give it a try working together, and we ended up going from there. And the rest is history. Will we get different kinds of cars? That's something that I would love for us to do long term. I definitely think that's an obvious one for us, of just adding more cars in the future. Yes, Rainy is correct. My first items for some some history lessons. So my very first update that I worked on for Bloxburg was adding fireplaces to the game. So that was in December of 2017. It is crazy to think how long it has been. So crazy. Am I going to do more speed builds on my YouTube channel? You know, I don't know. Maybe at some point. All right, I'm gonna have to kick people out of my neighborhood again. They're gonna be very sad. Put this back down. We'll karate kick them here. Are we going to revamp the avatar changer? It is glitchy most of the time. Yeah, that's something that we know is definitely needing some work. We don't have a timeline to announce for that or a specific time to commit to yet. But that is something that we would definitely like to give some love at some point. The Utara Flan is cheating because developers can bypass these sorts of permissions. So he's sneaking in stealth mode. I guess I should load a plot before I open the floodgates of everyone here. Let's see. Can normal people sell pre-built houses? So I think you're asking about like the public catalog, if I'm not mistaken. That's something that we've talked a bit about. It's something that we would like to do in the future for sure. But that's something that we're needing Roblox to assist us with some different features to support that. So hopefully at some point that's our plan, is to bring it live, but we don't have a timeline. Since we're hoping Roblox can help us there. Trying to get into your neighborhood is giving me flashbacks of getting into YouTube servers in 2018. Yeah, it's definitely a little chaotic. And my own neighborhood has been betraying me today. All right, I'm going to open this up to actually hold. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Default player permission. Look at that. I am finally going to remember to do it. That's a W. All right. We'll give him roommate. That's important. Will we be getting new items in build mode? Now. I'm not going to spoil things. I said there's only so much that I'm going to talk about here. I feel like we should be doing more with the map. I said that we would be hanging out on the map, and I think I've just driven around. So tell me what you guys would like to do to make some memories on the map. All right, let's see. Let's open this back up, give some more people a chance to join. All right, there you go. 28 lucky folks. Good luck. I'm sure there's a lot of people trying to join right now. Will we ever get HVAC items? So if you don't know what HVAC is, that's like your air conditioning, cooling, ventilation, kind of your mechanical equipment. I used to work in the construction industry, so I could bore you with all kinds of technical terminology. That's something that I would like. I think it's maybe a little niche for like the day-to-day player, but maybe at some point. I know that like, I guess, category, but things like water heaters, air conditioners, more vents, electrical equipment, like those kinds of things, I definitely have seen some requests for those over the years. So maybe at some point. How many plots are going to be in all 4 neighborhoods? That's something that I'm not going to reveal today. But we are going to keep the 12 players to start, which I talked about a little earlier. So many questions. I don't know if you guys can see it. I even have it filtered out the top chat, and chat is moving so fast. There's so many of you. I did not expect this many people to show up to the stream, not gonna lie. It has been so long since I've done this. I thought YouTube wouldn't even tell people, so I was gonna have to like go beg people on social media to come visit me. But I'm glad that all of you turned up. It's been fun. Will there be a timer on the game icon? I'm not gonna reveal all the fun stuff. If you guys didn't notice, I don't know how many of you picked up on this. I saw some of the content creators talk about it. But we did actually not only make the meteor bigger. Oh, I just got robbed. Or maybe it's just not spawning in. That's fun. The game's doing all kinds of weird things. All right, let's escape quick. Not only did we make the meteor bigger on the map itself, or the meatball, but we also made it bigger in the thumbnail. So we're showing you that it's getting closer. Doomsday is upon us. Obviously, it's going to be a catastrophe. There's going to be so much chaos, but it's going to be the start of a new era for Bloxburg, which we are so excited about. I guess I didn't even ask you guys. What did you guys think of the cutscene? I talked about it a little bit earlier, but we did mention that our friends at Barrier 4 have been helping us with the cutscene. So they did the animation and production work on that. I'm curious what you guys thought of the initial cutscene. Did it catch you by surprise? It's not something that we even announced. Someone asked how Coeptus is doing. He's doing really well. Him and I still talk very regularly. I mentioned it a little earlier, but he still stays in close contact with our team. I won't give away any personal details, but him and I are also going on a vacation together soon. I'll make sure to tell him the community says hi and that you all love him and miss him. But he does still pay close attention to the development, and he does still read some of our socials. Funny enough, he's like, hey, this player mentioned this bug. Maybe you guys should go fix that. So he still pays attention to what some of you guys are talking about too. Are the buildings going to actually be towed away in game? So if you saw in our cutscene and now here, we thought that this was a fun way to show that it's not all going up in flames and that we're planning on taking some stuff with us. As Tom mentioned in the cutscene, the plan is to save the town as well as all of players' builds. I saw a lot of people freaking out on socials of like, OMG, is my house going to get yeeted and deleted? And all of my stuff eraser stuff is perfectly safe. It's also being loaded onto a trailer. Don't worry. Although some of you guys have super big builds, so we might need multiple trailers, but your stuff will be perfectly fine. Why are y'all saving Susan? Wow. You know, the community and the community managers really have it out for poor Susan. I don't know what you all dislike about her. She has such a current and updated, lovely furniture store. Maybe that's what we should do. We should go hang out with Susan. She does not get enough love. Like, how can you not love Susan's furniture store? Like, look at these very current, totally not outdated products in the game. Like these super great, totally new counters that weren't here in the very beginning. Don't worry. Our very current beds that came totally in recent releases. And my personal favorite, we've got these podiums that we updated the items and didn't update the code to actually put them on the podiums, but don't mind that. Don't mind that. Just think that these are sold out. Susan did a really great job of selling these things. Burn it. Don't let me look at her. You guys are brutal. Don't worry, Susan. They don't mean it. They don't mean it. Oh no, I'm getting RKO'd here with a backflip. But yes, good old Susan here. I guess we can also like stand right here and maybe have a moment of sadness for our beloved nightclub that held so many parties and got so much use in every server I went in. It was totally full of people always in the nightclub, totally using it. And it wasn't outdated at all. I'm curious, how many of you here watching right now were super OG players? So I'm talking like 2016, 2017. And we actually had different cups for the grape juice, the juice in the nightclub. I don't know if you guys remember those. It used to be the meta of players going and collecting those and decorating their builds with them because that was the only place that you could get them. Curious how many of you were here for those? The classics. We're just gonna take a walk down memory lane. The good old nightclub drinks. No, it totally was not a glass of wine. Not that I'm gonna talk about like alcohol and drinking, but just to correct you, those were actually the shape of martini glasses, FYI. Seems like a lot of you have been very, very long time players. That's awesome. I myself started actually as a player of the game. Some people thought that I was an early developer. I was an early developer on the game, but even that means that I was working on the game. I started working on it 3 years into it being a product or a project. So I started working on the game in late 2017. But I started as a player about 2 weeks after the game was released in August of 2016. So it is crazy to think that this game is still as big as it is so many years later. And we are so excited to breathe some new life into it tomorrow. Oh, I'm being taken on an adventure here. I'm being escorted around. Looks like we're maybe going to go to City Hall. We can go into City Hall. The beloved City Hall. All of the books that have totally been read. There's been some stuff hidden in here during one of the quests if you've never seen that. How many of you were here for the April Fool's event? I think in 2021. Sorry, all the years kind of blur together. 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. We actually turned the City Hall into a school. So if you weren't here for that, I'm sure you can find some footage online. We crossed out the word hall up here and put school. We had a beautiful, beautiful school bus out here. It was made of some rotes. So this red car without the gigantic wheels on it, the monster truck version. But we ended up making it into a school, which we had so much fun with. Oh, I stand corrected. It was 2022. Thank you. But that was one of my favorite April Fool's updates. If you recall, we had a quiz where you had to answer some very difficult questions. That's something that Coeptus and I were very devious with. And for those of you from my Discord server, you might have realized that some of those questions were actually what I trolled people with when we had done a Kahoot and a community event with the server. That was actually one of the inspirations for the evil quiz. Yes, the pink cube, another great walk down memory lane with this map. So that was when we had this mysterious shape going all around the map. Don't mind me while I get carried out of the mines here. It's like the Minecraft movie. Maybe this is Steve. I guess, what are some of your guys' favorite memories from this map? I'm trying to think, what would my favorite update have been on this map? You know, I also really loved our recent April Fool's event with the ducks. All right, how many of you remember the very first elf hunt? If you weren't there for that or you don't remember, we actually put the elf hunt in and we gave players no sort of notice. So it took about a day or two of actually people discovering the elf. First, they realized it was making a sound and players were like, why is this making a sound? And then from there, oh no, I'm going to get thrown off the map. I should reset the server. That'd be so evil. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to troll a bit. Watch this. We shall not get kicked. You can't get me this time. Boom. All right, I'm going to go back to my plot. That should give more of you a chance to join. We got him. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I got played by the game. I think that's the third time I've had to rejoin. That's fun. That's fun. Unpopular opinion, but when the map got expanded, the Jeep and the sports car, so that was 2018. I vividly remember making those vehicles. That was actually the first time I had made vehicles. And that was kind of terrifying, if we're going to be real. All right, I need to bump this up so I can get back into my neighborhood. I got yeeted again. The burger trees, yes, that was a super fun update as well. I think that one was very, very funny. That came obviously from the trope that we use with the community of calling them blocks burgers. We thought that that was a lot of fun. But yes, I was very, very proud back in 2018 of adding the Jeep looking vehicle and the sports car. I think that was something that was a ton of fun. Let's see if this will let us in. Hopefully. Burger Tree is 11 out of 10. I agree. I am a huge like bacon cheeseburger fan. So I would love if there were just always trees like that. But I don't know that players would love that all the time in the game. Will we ever get real life Bloxburg merch? So there actually has been Bloxburg merch in the past. We used to be in a program that Roblox had called the Developer Star Program. So very similar to the Content Creator Star Program where they've got star codes, which sadly it sounds like they're doing away with here soon. Let's do this. Trying to multitask. I'm not doing a great job of it. Eat. Say goodbye. The map revamp gets over 500,000 CCU tomorrow. Will you deliver Chick-fil-A to my house? I will not be delivering anything tomorrow. I will be sitting here watching the chaos. If the map revamp got over 500K, I would get Bloxburg Tom tattooed. All right, someone take a screenshot of that. If that happens, we're going to hold Glossy very accountable. I need you guys to hold her accountable. Make it happen. Why do the cars not have mirrors? That's because we can't do local reflections, meaning that we can't actually make it reflect what we would like to, so it really wouldn't do much good. And it was kind of a style choice to make them look a little different. And we have monster trucks in the game. We have them, but they're only for developers. We like having our exclusive vehicle. Maybe we'll add a different version of a monster truck at some point. But there's obviously so many vehicles that would be great to add to the game. My first tattoo can't be Bloxburg Tom Glossy. Come on, yes it can. You can definitely get a Tom tattoo. I'm thinking maybe like on your forehead, you know, somewhere not overly noticeable, just so that no one asks you if you're a Bloxburg player. But I think a forehead Tom tattoo would be great. You can get him like waving, and if you ever want to say hi to someone, just brush your hair off to the side and let Tom wave. Are you excited to see everyone's reaction to the hard work? I think our whole team is so excited about tomorrow, but also there's some nerves. I think just like with any update, there's going to be some people that probably love it, some people who maybe don't love it. I think some players have a difficult time with change, which I totally get. There's a degree of nostalgia, and it's going to be a big adjustment for people, which is totally fair. But I think our whole team is very, very excited to bring this to the community. It's something that we've been working on for so long. The team has been really locked in and working so hard on this. And I think that hopefully the majority really loves it. I think we're so excited. We feel so good about it. Coeptus has seen it and also loves it, so it's got his stamp of approval if that gets you excited. So it'll be good. All right, let's let people back in here. Hopefully I don't get yeeted again. What else should we visit on the map? We've got like the camping corner. Actually, I'm gonna take a further back one so it's less likely to get despawned. Actually, isn't that something I can change? I guess that's something I should probably just fix. Vehicles. Respawn. No. No, no, no. Alright, there you go. Now my vehicle can't be stolen. How long have we been developing this map for? So I talked about that a bit earlier. It depends on how long you classify development. It has been a thought and in notes and plans for years, quite literally. We did initially start working in kind of a full-time focus with some of our team on it about two years ago. But that led to an initial version and then even the start of a second version that we decided not to keep and that we wanted to restart. So that's actually, I guess, a good talking point. One of the reasons that we don't always share what we're working on or kind of how we're working on it is with game development, it's very iterative. So if you're not familiar with that term, it means that we do a lot of trial and error. So that's something that I think that content creators can speak even to what they've seen on the map and some of the other features that they've seen us develop in real time. Things go through a lot of changes and a lot of processes. We try to do some testing and then we end up doing some different trials. Sometimes we'll do what's called A/B testing, where we'll try two different versions and then compare them. And in a lot of our features and stuff, so the map being a huge example, that it goes through a ton of changes and trials, and this one took us a long time to get it how we really like it now. So if you count all of that as development, it has been literally years of development, but this particular one has been kind of the team's core focus for probably about the last nine months, I would say. Maybe longer. I guess the other thing I'm not taking into account is that there's also some things that we had developed for the previous map that we carried over to this. But yeah, it's a very, very long process. So who is Dom from the town hall? That's a great question. Great question. All right, next question. Are there any nods to the OG map in the new one? That's a great question. I will let you discover that. Oh, I got taken away. Quick. I'm running. I'm gonna get in someone else's. Oh. I guess I can take this one. Let's see if they get in with me. There we go. Thank you very much for delivering this beautiful vehicle. Will there be a mini map? I'm not going to reveal all the stuff that we have. Unfortunately, I would love to just be like, here's everything you can expect, but that spoils some of the fun. Hello, Egg Dog. Thank you again for the delivery of this beautiful monster truck. Now, this is a plot. That is very cool. Fanfi's plot here. Fanfi is one that I recognize from the Discord server. If you're not already in the community Discord server, make sure to go join it. Looks like a serpent or a dragon of sorts. Serpent. Water monster. And a shipwreck. Like a... What? Charizard? Beautiful. Beautiful. Will I go live tomorrow? I will not be going live tomorrow. So I mentioned this a bit earlier, but I want you guys to give your attention and spend your time with all the many content creators that are going to be putting out videos tomorrow. I know a number of them are also going to be live streaming. Capto that's on here. I think Ashley the Unicorn's going to be streaming. Creek's going to be streaming. I'm sure more of them are also going to be streaming that I'm probably forgetting. But try to go spend your time with them. We're going to be focusing on the developer side of doing what we can to look for any issues that players are having, any adjustments that we need to make, or at least start the process of investigating those. Obviously, our team usually does not work on the weekend. So this is going to be a bit of an unusual process for us. But we're trying to coordinate. It's going to be late for my teammates over in Sweden too. If you don't know, our studio is now based in Sweden. So a lot of our team works there in Sweden or other parts of Europe. So that means that they're going to be staying up a bit late. So we just ask that you cut them some slack a bit. But yes, please go tune into the different creators' content tomorrow, whether it be live or videos or shorts or any of the above. And me and the development team will be focused on making sure that we can do the best job we can to make sure you have a good experience on the new map. Is there going to be a school? So there's not going to be a school on the new map itself. This is something we talked about in some of our recent videos. But we are planning on adding a school this fall. That's something that you guys have to look forward to. And assuming that all goes to plan, which right now we don't have any belief that it's going to change, but that can change by the day. The plan will still be to add a school later this year. That's something we've been working on for quite a while, just like the map. What else should we do in here? Maybe we should visit some of the NPCs. We got Glenn. We already visited Susan earlier. I know you guys love Susan. Oh, I'm being taken away again. We've got just all the fun. All the different NPCs. We've got some of the beloved customers that I saw some of you saying that they're outdated. I can't believe you would say such a thing. Look at these modern, fresh apparel, clothing styles. How could you think any other than that? Oh, I'm being taken again. Annex NPC. I remember people going crazy thinking that he was then employed at Bloxburger. Oh. Getting a bit of lag from people driving through here. You can go visit Mike as well. Good old Mike's Motors. Yeah, I definitely agree. We could have done a better job of maintaining the inventory in Mike's showroom here. Good old Mike Carson. Oh, I'm being taken again. Oh yes, the town's favorite building in the entire game, the parking garage. Very, very sad that this note is here that says do not save. That's tragic. You ever go undercover on alts to play the game by yourself? I do that all the time. I definitely do that. I do that a lot, actually, just to join and see kind of how people are playing the game or get unsolicited feedback. People freak out when they see a developer join the game, and usually the chat isn't as honest. People just get excited, want to hang out, but I use it just to see how people are playing the game. Oh, I keep getting grabbed again. By garage, you can have most of the meatball meteor. That's tragic. It looks so funny not having the Ferris wheel over here. So this is actually, so funny enough, I'll give you guys a bit of a insider information. So if you didn't know, the Ferris wheel was actually recently encountering a bug where you couldn't actually sit on it like we usually let you. And unfortunately that messed up some of the checklists that people have of things I want to do on the map before it's gone. And when we were talking about this event, we wanted something that was going to be very easily noticeable, that oh, things are changing and things are getting packed up to be saved. So we decided to take down the Ferris wheel because it's so iconic to Bloxburg. But then it was also the whole kind of easy way of fixing the issue of not being able to ride the Ferris wheel right now. I keep getting like carried by people. Let me go in here. Take me away, Chris. Yes, that is why the Ferris wheel did not work. Will the Lightning Strike trophy be available? Yes, it's still available. It's just very, very rare to get. Unless you're a developer, and then you can cheat. If you've ever seen me post it in the Bloxburg Discord server, when some people were talking about that trophy, I actually made a bigger lightning bolt out of a bunch of lightning bolt trophies just to flex. Will we ever make a legacy version of Bloxburg for the OG map? That's not currently planned, just because that's one more thing that we kind of have to maintain. And we want to keep our focus on the existing game. But we're hoping to continue to find ways to still pay homage to the past and the nostalgia too. Same with kind of I think the point of legacy UI. I think that's something we talked about in the Discord. Unfortunately, it's just not really feasible and also not smart development wise to try to maintain two UI styles. I know that it definitely looks a little different now, and we're hoping that as we continue to add more context to the UI and some of the other changes, that everyone will really feel good about it. I think there's a lot of stuff that people can't see yet that will make more sense. Are we going to server reset? I don't know if you're talking about the neighborhood resetting. Chat's still going very fast. Meanwhile, Chris is giving us the grand tour of the map here. I'm curious, what are your guys' favorite locations on the existing map? It can be locations that are still here, old versions of locations that maybe been updated or changed. Like, what is your favorite part of the map itself? Yes, Chris is awesome. Chris is a great driver, keeping me safe. The sled hut. Bloxburger, a lot of Bloxburger. The gas station, that's an interesting one. So I'm guessing you're talking about the one that actually has a store to get in. Oh, Chris, save me! No! No! Someone save me! All right, we'll get in with Joe Exotic Tycoon. We've got a new driver. The Observatory Secret Moon Room. That's a very good one. Ski ramps, snow mountain during the winter. Yeah, sledding's definitely a lot of fun. That is something I was so excited when we added that. Weptis did some magic back then to make those work. I wish you could have seen some of the testing of all the times that it failed and did not work. Will we ever turn on collision for vehicles? Maybe at some point, but there's some performance issues when we do that. And then there's also, I don't know if you remember, it used to be a meta for players to pick up people on their cars, and then you could drive them onto your plot and the auto exploit would kick them. The people used to torment one another with using the vehicles as a weapon of mass destruction, of getting rid of people on servers. So if they wanted their friend or their family or whoever to join them, or they were just tired of someone in chat, they would go pick them up and yeet them, which was very, very clever, but obviously not great for people playing. The trauma of them blocking the Pizza Planet door. Yeah, that's also a big problem, for sure. Oh, hopefully we're not lagging out here. Yep, blocking the street as well. Classic. People used to also use cars to get into people's locations, their plots and stuff. Oh man, this is really lagging now. I'm gonna restart the neighborhood again. Yeah, it's going crazy. Let's do a neighborhood restart. Will I ever do more speed builds? I don't know. There's been some times where I'm like, man, it would be really fun to build this. The problem is I often lack the time of being a full-time developer on the game. Oh, I think I broke my camera here. Might have to do kind of a refresh of the server. Now let's do a quick restart of the server, unfortunately. The good old joy of Roblox servers sometimes. Do this again. Yeah, you're right. I should change it so that people can't pick me up. That would be smart, wouldn't it? Will we ever show the scrapped map? Maybe one day, but right now, not in the plans. Using my live stream as a news source. Yeah, I figured that there's probably going to be some stuff saved from here. I don't think I'm saying anything too crazy. So. What is the server name called? It is the same as my username. Okay, I need to make sure that the server actually shuts down. Sorry, Gloss Boss. Oh no, she's gonna be so sad. I need to go to another neighborhood so that this resets. Saddened at the fact we have not gotten you to slip up. Yeah, it's a tricky one. This is my first appearance in 4 years. Yeah, I know. I honestly was just as surprised as all of you. I mentioned to a few friends and stuff. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to stream the last day before the map. And here we are. How are people still in the neighborhood? Who is still in there? We need it to be nice and clean. Get out of here. How are all of you in here? It was set to no one. What are you guys doing? SMH. Shaking my head. Will you next see me in 2030? Do you know? Maybe. I don't know when my next stream will be. I didn't even know that this one was ever going to happen again. I knew it'd also be a fun surprise. I think the server is lagging. That's why. Actually, because I didn't hit save, I don't think. Womp womp. Womp womp. Oh, Phoebe is back. Hello, hello. This stream, money reveal. Next stream, face reveal. Wouldn't that be something? That would really be something. Maybe one day, but that's not currently in the plans. As much as I would love people to say hi to me in public places, there are some people that are a little scary sometimes out there in the world, as I'm sure you guys have seen. All right, let's try jumping to another neighborhood again. Let the server restart. Eyebrow reveal. My eyebrows are nothing to write home about. Nothing to write home about. Trying to pick stuff out of the chat, but it's still moving rather quickly. Whose idea was it to add ducks to the meteor? You know, I don't know whose idea exactly it was on the team. Our whole team really loves the ducks. I think the community could tell that we were big fans of the ducks as well. So that's someone on the team said, you know what, we should put those on the meteor as a fun little Easter egg. So we did. But I couldn't tell you who exactly it was. Am I married? I am not married. Nope, nope, nope. Have any of you devs heard of the Bloxburg wiki? Yes, actually. So funny enough, when we're too lazy to open the game and look up certain items or what the names of them are, because when we're editing stuff in the game, we often need the exact like names of them. We actually use the wiki a lot. So thank you and the rest of the team who edit the wiki and maintain that. You guys are a huge help to us, and I think a huge help to the community too. So thank you guys. But we have definitely heard of it. You also love the ducks? Yeah, the ducks were so much fun. And we even have some little rubber ducks. A few of the team have some that sit on their desk in the office. Can you put Susan on the meteor? That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, let's spawn in. Will there still be holiday events? Yes, that is like a core part of Bloxburg. How did this person get in here? They snuck in. All right, I feel like it's not lagging, so we can probably open it up. Hopefully, maybe, hopefully, possibly. Any trophies be unattainable after this? I mean, there's the different like event trophies from all the events that have happened in the past that you can't get anymore. Office reveal? Maybe I will do an office reveal at some point, but by that, my home office and not our physical office. I think our team likes their privacy. Bloxburg has such a nice design language. You can look and know that it's from Bloxburg. I hope that we see the same design language on the new map. So that's a great point. I think that's one of the things we've really tried to focus on and I would honestly love your guys' opinion. I think the thing for me, and this is someone who's been a developer for many, many years on this game now, as you guys know. I think as we've seen the game progress, oh, I'm already being carried again. One of the things that I think has always maybe bothered me, or where I felt we had an opportunity to improve things, was that this map, while it's historic and iconic, and I think it's a core memory of Roblox's past, just like many games that have been around for a long time, to me, it doesn't necessarily match like maybe the visual style or the standards that a lot of people in the community are building, even just some of the normal pre-builts and stuff. I think that the level of immersion isn't quite the same with the map as what some of our players are creating. And so that's one of our focuses of, with the new map, making it feel like Bloxburg, but also making it feel more like Bloxburg, which I know that's crazy, and hopefully you'll understand what I mean soon. Oh man, we're lagging over here. So whenever you guys see like a bunch of the car suspensions like this, that causes a lot of networking changes because it's calculating the bouncing and stuff on the server. So not great when you have a bunch of monster trucks that are very bouncy. Let's see. Why am I not remembering where the setting is of who can pick me up? You know, I should know stuff like that. It's under normal settings. I don't even remember. I don't know. I guess people will just keep snatching me. Monster trucks are the best vehicle in the game. I agree. They're very, very fun. Although there is, and the content creators have seen it, but they cannot speak on it. There is another secret dev vehicle. I think we've mentioned it before. But that's one that we don't show in public. It's very, very secretive. Oh! I just got thrown through the map. That's brutal. F in chat. Brutal. The harsh world out here in Bloxburg. My monster truck kept bouncing and then I crashed. Yep. That's unfortunately the monster trucks are not the most performance friendly. Oh, you guys liked that I got thrown through the map. Yep, that's valid. Yeah, I've got a decent stream delay. Is Susan a vampire? I don't think so, but I also can't confirm or deny that. I've never asked her. Why is it secret? I'm guessing you're talking about the other dev vehicle. We like our secrets. That's what devs do. We have all kinds of fun secrets. If you saw when I load in, we have a secret admin button that's just a treasure trove of secrets. Maybe it's in here that... Yeah, I don't even remember. But to Capto's point, yes, this is exactly why we need some UI changes. Don't get me wrong, I get it. Like the UI, you've been familiar with it for so long. Oh, we're flying here. But there's a lot of things that are very difficult to find and navigate on the old UI. And it shouldn't be that hard for people to pick up and play a game. So our goal is to make it more streamlined. Xbox build mode is glitching so bad. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Unfortunately, the game doesn't run great on console right now, but that is something that we're trying to improve in the future. I heard about the other secret vehicle before and need to see it. Well, Jay, you're not going to see it. It is top secret. How does one become a moderator in a Roblox game? Like, who looks at ban reports and ban appeals? So that's currently handled by our internal team. We do have some volunteers in the community that we are super, super thankful for on our Discord server. But all of the in-game moderation related stuff, that's currently handled by our actual employees and team. We need emotion. Why are you not crying? Like, this is the last time in the old map. You know, while it's sad, I am far more excited to say goodbye to this map. Maybe it's a little different for me because I've seen the new map for so long. So for me, like, it's such an exciting moment. And I've had many months to kind of say my goodbyes. But I think it's going to be, I think the biggest change, I guess, for me is actually going to be getting used to seeing people's videos and their screenshots and all of their role plays and their builds and all of that on the new map. I think that's going to be really, really weird for me to look at because it's just been this big internal secret project working on the new map for so long. So it's cloudy with a chance of meteors. It is not even a chance of meteors. It is 100% meteors, or meteor, I should say. It's going to be a crazy day tomorrow. So I hope you are all as ready as I am. Oh, this is where we get some lag from all the vehicles and the city here. Which neighborhood do I like the most in the new map? I will say that after the new map is revealed. How about that? Am I on a dev server? I'm not on a dev server right now. I'm just on my neighborhood, where if you want to join, I think it's full currently, and there's probably a lot of people trying to get in. That's the same as my Roblox username, FroggyHopz. Reset the server. Okay, you've convinced me. Everyone's had their chance to drive around some. I'll do it. I'll do it. See ya. All right. New ones coming in. Oh, that made me lag a bit there. Will there be options to put categories inside inventory? I don't know what you mean by that, Marvin. If you could explain it, I can try to answer it if it's something that I can reveal. I keep crashing when I join the server. Yeah, unfortunately, the lag is a little strong on neighborhoods, especially when I give everyone a bunch of laggy vehicles like this. These are not the most optimized since they're a developer vehicle. Cutscene was so good. I love the cutscene, and I am so excited for the big event. I also love that it feels like we really surprised the community. I think a lot of people were expecting the map to come later in the year. No one was expecting us to suddenly drop a release date as well as treat it as this big event. It has been so satisfying seeing everyone come together. That's been really, really fun. If you pay me $0, will I let you see the new map? That's a tempting offer, but no. Tell you what, I'll take you up on that offer tomorrow after the new map is live. Then you can pay me $0 to see the new map. We got a deal. Tell Coeptus everyone said hi. Yes, I will definitely do that. I mentioned it earlier, but if you weren't here at that point, him and I are actually going on a vacation together, which is fun. I'll make sure everyone knows that, or he knows that everyone still is thinking of him. See if I can do this without falling off. The lag is making this difficult. Nope, I think we're stuck. There we go. Skill right there. Skill. Your skill. Where am I headed? I honestly don't know. I'm just kind of driving around, taking in all the sights. This is where we of course have some of the seasonal stuff. The ice skating rink, the graveyard. I think some of the seasonal content, some of my favorite stuff, and I think it shows what the players do. Of it's something everyone knows. There's going to be something each year, and that it's coming back, or maybe bringing some new stuff at the time. So super fun. This would help if I didn't drive into trees while trying to read the chat. Will there be any new trophies? I'm not going to reveal that. Susan needs a glow up, and so does her store. How could you say such a thing? She's such a successful businesswoman, supports small local businesses. That's what we should have done. Instead of a meteor event, we should have done a support local businesses and buy from Mike's Motors and Fancy Furniture event. Like, go and buy some books. Now I can go place these down. Oh. See? Support local. Oh, but now it went away. That's fun. That's fun. What else? Keep Susan out of business? That's crazy. That is crazy. Should support all of the local businesses. Buy pizzas, buy ice cream, buy vehicles, buy furniture. Go get a haircut, get a glow up. Oh, but while we're over here, you know what you can't buy? We'll go into BFF here. One thing you cannot do on the map is buy cheese. Womp, womp, womp. Womp, womp. Good old BFF. See, this did get a slight update last year. I think it is when we added the cake shelf, the cakes and cupcakes. Delicious. Let us buy cheese. Now, why would we do that? Crazy. Crazy. Who would ever want to buy cheese at the grocery store when you can just look at it in the display shelves like this? Like, why would you want to take it out of there? Oh, I'm being taken away. Will there be plot data limits on the new locations? Yes, the plot data limits are, no matter where you spawn in your plot, you're still going to have plot data limits. Oh, getting taken away again. Okay, I'm going to reset the neighborhood again. Give some more people a chance to join. What are my feelings about cheese? Cheese is good. Cheese is good. Cheese is great. Look at all these vehicles being despawned. We got them. See, now you can escape. You want the new map now? Yeah, me too. Me too. But we're getting close. We're getting super, super close. So close. See, I'm still not good at this whole driving while trying to read chat aspect. Look at the plot across from mine. Okay, I'll try to make my way around. We can look at some plots. People load in. Drive the monster truck on water. All of our vehicles don't really love driving on water. Unfortunately, they do not function like boats, and they function more like rocks when you drive them in water. Oh, this is neat. Ben's ice cream. Little nod to the Ferris wheel over here. That's very fun. Very fun. How are the seasonal updates going to look with the new map? They're going to look like the new map. Hope that helps. Can we get boats? I would love to have boats. Boats are definitely not an easy feat. That requires some new vehicle physics and such. So definitely a bigger ask, but maybe one day. Oh, here's a mini Bloxburg map. How fun. Very fun. I've seen this is kind of a trend right now of people making mini maps. Very, very neat. Very cool build. This would have also been fun if we just had like a giant Tom or giant Susan or something destroy the town instead of a meteor. Would be crazy. When is the gambling and slot machine update coming? Probably never. Hope that helps. Unfortunately, Roblox has pretty strict regulations on that kind of stuff. Would be funny though. Would be funny. Will more new UI come in with the map? No, not with the map. Have I seen the new school coming? Yes, I indeed have. I see all of the stuff we are working on. Let's go in this plot over here. Waffle Resort. 23 waffle. Very fancy. Parking underneath. A fun history fact. When I first started playing Bloxburg, my very first plot was a house that I built. But my second plot and how I actually made money in the early days, so I wasn't much of a role player, but I did like to support role plays. So I had a hotel that I built, and then I would let other players do role playing in it, and I would also have them rent out rooms, which would make me money so I could keep building instead of working the in-game jobs. So that was fun. It's a neat resort. Even got some water slides. Very cool little pool area here. Will your house get destroyed when the meteor hits? No, we are not destroying your stuff. Your stuff will be saved along with some of the town. So you don't need to worry about your stuff. That is a lot of fireworks. I feel like we should set these off. Maybe Waffle can put on a fireworks display for us. Oh, I now have permissions. Oh, I can stay here. There we go. Got a nice little fireworks display. Very fun. One of the years to celebrate 4th of July in the US, since that's where I live, I did a big fireworks display that I made. That's one of the things I think is one of those fun little details in the game. Of when you buy fireworks, and if you are newer to the game and haven't had a chance to buy them yet, you can get them a few times a year. When the little shop tent comes in, Boomer's Fireworks. But you can make your own displays, and it goes based off the order that you place them in. So you can basically create a sequence, which is really fun. Maybe all this talking will make Froggy sleep at a reasonable hour tonight. You know, maybe, but probably not. I think it's going to be a little tough to sleep tonight. I'm super excited about tomorrow, and I guarantee I'm going to be laying there thinking about it. So... Is Victor von Vlox part of Tom's lineage, Bloxburg lore? I can't reveal all the secrets. Some of that is left for the players to figure out. There's all kinds of fun mysteries if you look hard enough. You can ask Detective Glossy or any of the others that dive really deep in the community. Can't wait for a golf TikTok at 2 a.m. Yes, Capta receives golf-related TikToks from me. He knows that I do some doom scrolling on TikTok. I try not to let my brain rot too much. That's what we should have done for the stream tonight. To celebrate the meteor coming tomorrow, we could have played Steal a Brain Rot. That would have been fun, right? Please inform the public of your golf skills. Sure, I would gladly talk about my golf skills. It's a very short conversation. And that is that there are no golf skills. I lack golf skills. I'm terrible at golf. And if you ever somehow come within a few miles of me in a golf club, consider yourself at risk because I lack any sort of aim whatsoever. So I wish you the best of luck. If I joined you, should I have the monster truck? You can use a monster truck if you make it into the server off of my plot. I spawned in a bunch of them for people to be able to drive around. can't wait for Roblox to crash tomorrow. I sure hope not. So tomorrow is going to be a very scary day if you're a Roblox server engineer, because there is a Grow a Garden update, I think 3 hours before we're updating. There is a Dress to Impress update, I think 2 hours before us. And I'm sure there's some other games also updating tomorrow. So there's a lot of content. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of players joining different servers throughout the day. So hopefully all goes well on the Roblox side. I know that they're going to do what they can to try to make sure everything goes smoothly, but servers are finicky sometimes. I know that they had an outage, was it last night? I think was the most recent one, at least for me. They were out for a little bit, which was not fun, because I was trying to get some last minute work done, but it is what it is. It made me go to bed a little bit earlier. Will you die if the meteor hits us in the town? Well, hopefully the meteor doesn't hit you. I would not recommend standing in front of a meteor that's coming at you. If you have not built your shelter yet, you've only got, let's see, like 18 hours. So I would suggest building as fast as you can, and I wish you the best of luck. Can you keep the monster truck? No, unfortunately, these are an exclusive vehicle, but I do like to let people drive around in them when I join people on servers. Most of your favorite games are updating tomorrow? Yeah, there's all kinds of fun updates. It's definitely going to be a good Saturday for Roblox players. Would not recommend standing in front of the meteor, I'm telling you. What time is the game updating? So our big event is at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So if you take that PST and convert it into your local time, or you can also go to the games page on Roblox, both on the app or on the website, and there's an event on there. If you have not already subscribed or said interested in the event, that'll also show it in your local time. So very, very fun. Am I going to be live all night until the map comes? Absolutely not. I'm probably going to go get dinner at some point, and then I'm hoping I can at least get a few hours of sleep. But I'm definitely going to be trying to lay there and thinking about the map. So. You think that Susan deserves eternal banishment to grow a garden? I don't know if Susan's much of a gardener. I think she's more of a furniture salesperson, so that might not fit her the best. Abdul asks if you can share how'd you get the studio manager and game director position. That's probably a story for another day. But I mean, the gist of it was initially when we opened the studio with Coffee Stain, I took on the game director role. Just kind of leading the creative direction and more of like the roadmap and what we're working on, and did that for 2023. There was a time where I was no longer in the game director role, and we made some changes in the studio, and then it was determined when we were doing some strategizing for the company moving forward that it felt like I should take on leading the studio. At the time, we weren't sure if that was going to be just in the short term, since I really want to make sure I can still focus on what the development is doing for the game, and our roadmap and that kind of stuff. And when managing the business side, there's all kinds of stuff that I don't think most people think about. It's very, very time consuming, a lot of things to keep track of. But after kind of trying to juggle them and getting a feel for things, we determined that I was going to continue leading the studio as well as the direction of the game. And thankfully, I've got a really, really good team of people that I work with every day that they also have a lot of responsibilities across many of them. So they make it a really fun and good place to work. So hopefully that gives you some context, though. Is there a sewage plant behind the river tunnel? So I saw people crashing out on the TikTok comments. Yes, I will do a server refresh. Before I kick that, so Jacob, yes, will we do resizable walls? Maybe one day, but that requires a lot of very, very major changes in terms of how build mode functions. So it's not a very easy task. Anyway, while I'm resetting the neighborhood, someone asked about the sewage plant behind the river tunnel. So I think people took this the wrong way. And maybe I'm getting a little nerdy coming from my construction background. But so with sewers, there's what's called stormwater sewers, where it's just like water, rain that runs off the streets and stuff. And then there's also like sewage, like waste. So what comes from bathrooms and all the gross, nasty stuff, and showers and drains and washing machines. So think of that as like a storm sewer over there. So it's like rainwater and stuff. It's not just putting gross, nasty stuff into the river. That would not be fun. Not be fun. Man, look at that beautiful meteor up there. Sure would be a shame. And by shame, I mean sure would be great if it just went rocketing into the town, huh? Evil for kicking. Yeah, I'm trying to give everyone a chance to join. There's still a lot of people tuned in. But doing what I can to give people a chance to hang out and share some memories while I yap with all of you. You guys have had some great questions. Why did we not put Riot's head as the meteor? Well, we didn't want something that covered the entire sky. No, I'm just kidding. Would have been funny. But no, we wanted it to be a true lava doom sphere meteor meatball. Is the new school coming in the new map? I've answered this one earlier, but unfortunately it will not be on the new map. It'll be coming at a later time. But we want to make sure that the school has what we want it to have when it gets in there. And overall, we want it to have its time to shine on its own. We want the map to shine and then the school itself to shine later. You love the ducks on the back of the meteor? Yeah, me too. I saw someone on, I think it was Ashley's stream, asking why they're holding guns. They are not holding guns. They are holding little swords. They're having a duck sword fight. So, will there be new jobs? We want to add new jobs in the future for sure. But that also, I think we also want to balance like reworking some of the stuff we have in the game. Obviously, that's gone a bit slower over the years. I think it had been a long time since we'd actually revamped a job when we did the Bloxburger job in 2023. So hopefully we can find like a balance in the future of reworking jobs, adding new jobs. But that's the problem with a game of this size of there's so many things that we want to do. There's so many things that you guys want us to do. And we try to find a really good mix of what gives the game some exciting stuff and a really strong future. So, take a seat. Okay, I guess I don't have a choice. Oh, no. I'm getting put in my own monster truck. I'm out of here. Will the new map perform just as well? We hope. But with anything, the new map is bigger in size. We've talked about that on our roadmap video. So we're hoping that we've done a lot of optimization stuff to make it hopefully run smoothly. But it's going to be kind of a continual focus. Unfortunately, there's not a great way for us to test that kind of stuff at scale until we let all of the chaotic players join us. Why don't we give Capdo 100 million to balance the Bloxburg economy? We can give Capdo negative 100 million and make him work off his debt for the rest of his life. I think that would be fun. We can do a Capdo gets out of lifelong debt challenge. What else? Am I streaming until the map release? No, I'm probably gonna head out in a bit. Starting to get a bit hungry, but I did just want to hang out for a while with everyone because it's been so long since I've actually done this. And I'm actually surprised I haven't had more problems go wrong besides my own neighborhood giving me some troubles. Oh, this is fun. Neat little series of stores. Get out of debt in 100 hours. If you could make $100 million in this game in 100 hours, I would be speechless, but I don't foresee that happening. Are these all a bunch of animals? These are crazy. Oh, I love otters so much. Major otter fan. Polar bear. 10 out of 10. If you didn't know, some FroggyHopz lore. My favorite animal is actually polar bear. I know that's going to shock you. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. The orca, of course. Of course. Yeah, these are really cool. I keep getting taken away. I'm just trying to enjoy the animals. Penguins. You know, I really want to watch the movie. I saw it on Netflix the other day, and I haven't seen it in years. Movie Happy Feet. Animated penguins. Oh. Don't mind me while I just get run over looking at animals. It's fine. These are so neat, though. It honestly shocks me. I think some people are better at building stuff using the in-game parts and textures and stuff than what I can do with actual modeling software. So sometimes that makes me feel bad about myself, but I'm just in awe at what players can create. So cool. Chaotic. Phenomenal job. 11 out of 10. Would recommend. I should post more on YouTube. I would love to. The problem is I often don't have time. I do travel quite a bit over to our office over in Europe. A lot of the times I'm not even home. And when I am here, I like to hang out and do other things with my free time. And unfortunately, the type of content that I was making, these huge speed builds, often took a long time to build. My editing skills aren't great, so I can't say I spent a whole bunch of time editing. But the builds themselves, I would obsess over and take so much time on. And while they're fun, it would consume my thoughts. And right now, I've been focusing more on the development of the game itself. Why are the wheels big? These are the monster route, so these are a developer exclusive version of the vehicle. If you ever meet one of the devs, anyone on my team in game, make sure to ask them for the opportunity to drive the monster route. Very, very fun. Very fast, very bouncy, sometimes very laggy. Would recommend. What will the team do when there isn't any more ideas for adding build mode items to seasonal events? We still have plenty of ideas. I would not worry about that. But it does become definitely more challenging year after year. If you guys saw last year, we were trying to add some more like gameplay. And I know there were some mixed reviews, especially in the early version of the tickets. But really our goal is to give people more reason to play the game and feel like they're earning stuff while doing it as part of the event. Because what we saw is people would often join the seasonal events and be like, oh, well, got everything, I'm out of here, and they would only play for 1 or 2 days. And we want people to hang out with us all season. Will you get the monster route? No. This is unfortunately the secret exclusive developer vehicle, and then there's one even more secretive. Look at that beautiful shirt. 10 out of 10, Dasani. 10 out of 10. That right there is a great shirt. Who's behind the Bloxburglar account? Well, Bloxburglar is, of course. Very silly question. This is a very large building. Bowl and dine. Very neat. Even made a big fancy curved roof. Love the lighting. Very, very vibes. Are there any plans that have more than 5 floors? Honestly, that's a good question. Maybe one day. The problem is, like, the more we increase the bounds of plots, it looks a little funny when you have like 10-story towers or something in what's kind of supposed to be set in like a suburban neighborhood. Obviously, everyone doesn't make all homes, and we don't want everyone to make just homes. But we want to keep it somewhat realistic, and the other reason is we try to keep things as performance friendly as we can. But players find ways to make things laggy because they add so much detail, which they look beautiful, but some of our mobile players or players on some older devices maybe have a hard time viewing some of those pretty creations, and we want to try to balance it as much as we can to keep everyone playing and enjoying it. So maybe in the future, but I don't know for certain. What color will the sky be? It'll be sky colored. I hope that helps. You want me to reset the server again? Okay. It's been a bit. I can do that. Can definitely do that. When is the meteor hitting? Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. PST. 10 a.m. Will the new map have an ocean? The new map will have stuff on the new map. How's that? It'll have map stuff. All the map. The map will be a map. All right. I'm probably gonna wrap it up in like 10 to 15 minutes ish. Since I want to go get some dinner and also just kind of chill because it's probably gonna be a pretty busy weekend. But anything that you guys want me to do to, I guess, make some last memories here on the map? Any favorite spots you want me to visit? Anything you want me to talk about? Capto needs some food. Yeah, I feel you. You're even an hour later than I am, so I definitely feel you. Definitely feel you. I am getting rather hungry. I still need to figure out. Ah, secret decal. Yes. That is a great idea. I did mention that I was going to do that earlier. All right, we will do that, and it's going to be a long walk. So if you have things that you would like me to talk about while we go on the adventure, everyone can drive their monster trucks over while we get up here. I'm not going to drive this up the mountain because I guarantee you I won't do a great job at that. Who is Dom? I don't know what you're talking about. Who is Dom? Interesting question, though. Very interesting trophy. Will you get a trophy for being there when the meteor hits? I don't know, will you? If only I knew things like that. That's crazy. You think we need driving licenses and stuff just for me? I am a great driver. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. What am I going to get for dinner? I don't know yet. That's something I need to go figure out after this for sure. Oh. Stopped running there for a second. All right, hopefully I don't like yeet myself off the map. If I do, you guys aren't allowed to laugh. Bossy's favorite elf is the fourth elf on the 13th of December from 2023. I don't know which elf that is, but sounds like a good elf. All right, we're going to go on a really long adventure. Look at all these fine folks going on the adventure with us. You love to see it. Thanks to the Wind Smasher 2 here. All right, we didn't get thrown off the wall, so that's good. That's great. All right, it's going to be a big old race. Will there be grass in the new map? I don't know. Will there be? How interesting. What's my favorite update that Bloxburg has ever had? So, if I had to pick one update, and it's because as a very early player of the game, so way back when Bloxburg first came out, we only had 2 countertops in the game, which are still featured in Susan's store because she does not update her furniture. But don't mind that. So there were only 2 countertops and there were no kitchen cabinets, like wall cabinets. So my favorite update was one of the first few updates I worked on. It was back in 2018. And we added a few sets of cabinets, so kitchen cabinets, where there were counters and a bunch of kitchen cabinets and a few other kitchen items. And as someone who loves like interiors and houses and stuff, I felt it was so nice finally being able to make like more realistic kitchens. So that was very great. Do I remember the old color wheel? You mean the color bar? Absolutely. But yes, if I had to pick a favorite update, it's probably still my beloved kitchen cabinet one. When will the meteor hit? The meteor hits at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So in like 17 and a half hours, if I'm doing my math right. You also liked the kitchen cabinet update? Yeah, that one I was very proud of. Very happy with that one. Don't I have admin commands? I mean, I do, but that's cheating. That's not the journey. We're going on the journey. We're making this a final memory. Visit the secret in the mine? I don't know if I can even remember exactly where it is. It's been so long since I've looked at it, not just cheating. The kitchen cabinets made with a ton of wall shelves? Yes, Rady, you get it. People used to stack wall shelves and then put bars of soap with the little dish. And people would use those as like a kitchen cabinet handle. Some people would also put microwaves backwards to make like wall cabinets. So that was fun. That, and then I'm curious, how many of you played the game in 2016 where there weren't even ceiling lights in the game? I know I've told this story before, but the game had no ceiling lights in the early days. So you used to use the little bar, kind of like rectangular wall lights, and people would color them the same color and material as their walls, and then also put little lights on the floor underneath or like next to their furniture, I guess. Because back then we didn't even have the advanced placement, so you couldn't put things inside of one another. And it was quite literally the dark days. It was brutal. Yeah, a lot of you have been around for a long time, so you remember the struggles. The back in my days. Yeah, brutal stuff. You're happy that you get to spend the last hours of the map with me? Yeah, I thought it would be so much fun just hanging out with the community and chilling. I'm glad that you're all here to spend it with me too. You want the Chili's triple dipper? That's understandable. That is a great choice. Rainy. That is not a Bloxburg question. You remember going onto your iPad looking like a nuclear site after the lighting update? Yes. That was a classic player uproar. Roblox made some changes to how lighting's calculated in the game engine, so what makes the game run. And when we had to update our lights because they were doing what's called deprecating. So deprecating means that from a software sense, they're getting rid of a feature, how something functions. So we were updating the lighting and people went crazy because it looked like you were just walking into the sun itself. It was so bright because it used to be so dark. Players would place a lot of lights everywhere. So when we made this lighting change, all of the lights just went nuts and people were like, ah, which is very understandable. What do I think is the best light color? You know, I'm more of a linen guy myself. More of a linen guy. How did you get an ad? Do I have ads on this? I'm pretty sure my default setting is to not have ads, at least on streams. It's been so long since I've touched anything YouTube related. I'm honestly shocked that the stream itself is even running, for being real. Everyone liked the stream. Oh no, I'm being carried. Yes, if you like the stream, that'll totally help me get the YouTube algorithm back up for all of my content, since I upload so frequently. Yeah, you can help support the developer today. Make sure that YouTube and Google still send me a few dollars a year. Your support means everything. A specific YouTuber that's obsessed with linen? Yeah, I think there's a number of people who love linen. I'm not going to reveal any details about more of the neighborhoods. I got to leave that as a surprise for you guys to uncover. But I am so excited to see what you all think of the map. What was my first build? My first build was kind of a modernish house. It was like a 2-story, I think, modern home. I guess technically my very first build was like modifying the starter house. The original starter house. It's not even the same starter house that's in the game today. But then I eventually deleted that and made my own kind of modern home. And then from that point, my second build was a hotel. And my third build, which I still have, maybe that's what I'll end the stream with. I'll load the oldest build that I still have. How about that? I won't spoil it. Not spoil it. You're sad for tomorrow, but also excited. Yeah, it's definitely like a happy but sad. I totally get that. It's gonna be a change of, I'm honestly shocked the game was able to keep this map for this long. But I think it's also gonna be really exciting for everyone. And I hope that people love it as much as our team does. What does Queptus think of the map revamp? He loves it. He has been kept in the loop while we developed it. And I always show him what we're working on. And he has been so excited about it as well. So he's going to be watching and tuning into everything tomorrow too. We're getting here. Have all of you made this journey? I'm curious. Any of you not know why we're up here running? Because if you have not yet, this actually takes you to a secret location, and you've only got a few hours to go. Few more hours. What time zone am I in? I'm currently in Central Time. All right, so here we are. Imagine I fall. So this, up in this corner of the map, is the secret Oh Hi location. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. So beautiful. Is Queptus still active on the Queptus Twitter account? I don't know if he still uses that account specifically or if he uses another account, but I know that he does still check social media just to see what the game's up to, what players are up to. and he sends me certain things that he finds from time to time, but I don't know what account he does it on. So maybe. Where am I going on vacation to? I'm going to places. How's that? How would I describe the new map in one single word? I would describe it as Bloxburg. I talked a bit about it earlier, but if you are tuning in later here, I think the thing I'm most excited about is, I think, to me, it feels more like Bloxburg than this map even feels like Bloxburg. I think it really makes it feel like a very immersive, exciting game. So, can you tell us about the map that was scrapped? Was any part of it incorporated in the new map? So there were some, like, I guess, pieces of that map that we saved, like some props and decorations and some, I guess, doohickeys that we made. But in terms of like the map itself, we did not save like portions of that. We decided to restart the process. And really, like I talked a bit about earlier, but it was just that we didn't feel like it was quite accomplishing what we wanted, and all the different, I guess, elements that how we define success on the map. And that's supporting the core feel of the game and supporting what we want our players to be excited by in the game, whether you're role playing or building or anything in between. Exploring the map, having more things that kind of keep you occupied, more things to hang out with, and really immersing you in your virtual life on Bloxburg. And it wasn't quite hitting the mark how we were hoping that it would. So we restarted it. And I think we're all much, much happier with the results that we have now. And that's why our team is so excited about tomorrow. So super, super excited. All right. Gotta give a few dabs for the oh hi. Pay respects. Gotta pay respects. Oh, I forgot. I can also do this. Yes, perfect. Perfect. You love to see it. All right, I'm actually going to load a plot, and I'll probably start wrapping things up after that. So I've got a bunch of plots. You've never seen some of my ye olden day videos. Let's see if I can even find it. Something like town or city, or I think this is it. I think I'm 99.9% certain that this is my oldest plot that I have. And this was, so funny enough, if you go all the way back on my Twitter account, you can go all the way to my very first tweet. I guess maybe my second tweet. My first tweet might have been, this is my first tweet. Maybe it was my second tweet. But I actually made a Twitter account to post about my builds back then. And this was what I posted. And this is like an old city block. So this was in 2016. I think I posted this in like December. And you can see no ceiling light. So this was like a townhouse. There's a townhouse and a few apartment units on here. And I would rent these out to other players. And this was how I made money in the game. So I would let other players roleplay and enjoy my creations. And I decorated it for the holidays. But you can just see how different the game looked back then. So all the different details, and we had far less items. I guess a fun fact for you guys, if you don't know, so between all of the food items and the props and the furniture, so all the unique items we have in the game, we are almost at 4,000 items in Bloxburg. So that is a lot of items. I can tell you we did not have as many back then. This was before large plot existed. This was before advanced placement existed, when multiple floors only went to 3 floors, before ceiling lights. This is an old build, and I'll show you guys up here so you can kind of see it as we're approaching. But which one was my apartment, where I would keep up my needs and take a break from working. So this was my like industrial kind of loft vibe. And back then we did not have a whole lot of furniture choices nor material choices, so you had to make do with what you had. How many items have I worked on? I have no idea. I wish I knew that stat. I know it's a lot. It is too many to keep track of. Over here was a like coffee shop, and this was like a lounge and cafe up here. You can see. So these were the counters I talked about earlier. This was one of 2 counter choices you had. We had no cabinets, so we were roughing it. This was like my little Italian restaurant, and players loved coming and hanging out on here. And this was before I was a developer. I was just a player of the game, someone who loves architecture and games like The Sims and things that I could build and then also let other people enjoy. I think that was what drew me to Bloxburg so quickly, is the social aspect of it. And so I loved coming on and making things, and especially within the limits that we had of, it was a challenge. Over here is what was a dance club. I took my DJ booth out of there because I had to conserve my block bucks. You guys get it? You know what I'm talking about. And then up here, this was the staircase to the apartments that I would rent out. Yeah, the olden days in Bloxburg were a bit rough. It was very, very different, as you can see. So I would rent this out, and then there was another apartment next to it. But this was a great way to make money. Highly recommend having a business that other players can interact with. It was a ton of fun. A very, very good time. And I think that's... Oh, I didn't show you the music store, I don't think. So I know that this is a good example of showing you the wall lights. So you can see, this is how you used to have to light up your builds. Of these little rectangular lights. You would put those in and color them the same material as your walls. And that is how you would light things up. And you can tell it was pretty dark. So it was crazy. And then up here I had like a recording studio. So very fun stuff. Very, very fun. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, Lossy's hosting a conga line. Good old conga line to say goodbye to the map. What better way to send it off? Show us more plots. All right, I will show you guys one more plot. How about that? And I will let you guys pick. Let's see. I'll tell you about some of them. So you've seen Monster Road. My house is literally that, my house. My last video that I ever uploaded. Peak Prestige, which is a pre-built made by Floaty. Sunflower Stables, which is actually one that I made and modified an old speed build of mine. New build layout was me testing a different speed build that I never finished. Baseball Stadium. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a baseball stadium. Trees and Plants was me just looking at all the plants in the game for something development related. Football Stadium, so that's American football, so big ol' NFL stadium. Firework launcher, that was abusing a glitch at the time where you could launch fireworks at players. But unfortunately, my partner in crime at the time, Mr. Coeptus, patched it. But you used to be able to launch them, so I had a big wall of fireworks that caused chaos in servers. Kind of like the Meteor, funny enough. Let's see. Farmhouse and Farm. So that's the older version of what eventually became Sunflower Stables. Seasonal item storage, which is just a vault. The Pumpkin Patch and Orchard. So that's actually what I based making the event plot on for the Halloween event that you guys know and love now. I was trying to make an amphitheater at one point and failed miserably. The go-kart track, which ended up becoming the flash finish pre-built, but I made some minor changes to it. Beach house, which I think I had on like a beach with a lighthouse. In-N-Out burger. Salt and Pepper, which was like a modern restaurant that I made many, many years ago. My own old high school, which was a build that I never finished. I think it still shows as under construction. Chicago New Year's, which was like a town and city build. The water park, which is my personal favorite build of all time, but it definitely looks dated now. Happy Home is just a pre-built. Industrial Lofts building, which I ended up remaking one of my old builds and actually finishing it in that one. My airport speed build, which I think is one of my most viewed videos. I was trying to make a construction site many years ago. Modern lofts, an opera house, super old build. I made a country club, Polar Express, Rockefeller Center, which has the big famous ice skating rink. Tropical Oasis backyard, which was like a fancy pool but didn't have anything else with it. No Game Pass house, cruise ship, my fireworks display, which I made for the 4th of July. Single story modern home, suburban house, shipping container house. Hook and Ladder 8, which was from Ghostbusters for a Halloween build. My original pumpkin patch, which was from I think 2017. That was, I think, my first speed build, maybe my second. Very, very old build. Hole in Floor, which was, of course, the classic for trapping players. A secret underground kitchen. A bakery that I made. Four Gardens, which was based off an old Roblox game. North Pole. A little ice cream parlor that I named Frosty's. Family home, which was a pre-built. An abandoned warehouse that I never finished. Times Square, which looks super old and crusty. A ski resort, a bank, and a gas station. So, you know, only a few options. So, yeah, which one would you guys like to see? Whatever I see the most of, I will load. But please don't spam it. Just send yours maybe once or twice. That is a lot of plots. I think I have like 70 or 80 plots. I have a bunch of them. 60, I don't know. A ton. A ton. See some airport or water park, pumpkin patch, cruise ship, high school, fireworks, Ghostbusters, more airport, more pumpkin patch. You guys are gonna have to decide. You're going to have to decide. All right, we will do. I can do a poll actually. We will do which build. I'm gonna put in the ones I see the most of. What else? Load them all. If only I had that kind of time. Only if only. What if I load the high school at another time? Maybe when we get closer to our actual school, or maybe once it's out and we can compare it. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's see. Airport, water park. What else are you guys asking for? Pumpkin patch. All right. I'm going to put these ones. Your option didn't make it. I'm very sorry. All right. So you guys can vote now. So please submit your vote. And I'll wait till it reaches, I don't know, maybe like 100 votes or something. Oh man, it's going way faster than that. I lied. I'll give you guys some more time. How about that? But currently, airport is in the lead at 43%. Yeah, I did forget the R. You are right. Airport. Oopsies. It's not made from AI. Do not. Why am I so skibbity? That's a great question. Great question. All right, it looks like airport is the winner here. All right, we will do the airport. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. Tell you what, we will do the airport, and then I've got it. We will load the fireworks plot, the firework display, and I will do an outro over that as the fireworks are playing, and we can have a good old fireworks display to send off the beloved map together as one of our final memories on this map. How about that? See, Coeptos himself totally said this. He was the first one to fly over the river. He probably did it by hacking and using developer commands, but that doesn't matter. He said flight takes you as far as your imagination will go. And by that, I mean, he totally probably did not say that. But if I asked him to, I bet he would. So you can just think that he said that. So this was my airport. I made this in, man, I don't even know. 2017, probably 2018. Up here, you had all of your different like check-in counters and stuff. Little bookshop. This was again a very early build, so you can imagine it was a little limited back then. Little coffee shop. Looks like we at least had some stuff. No doors on the toilets because you couldn't place singular doors on walls then. Then you went through security after you got your ticket and stuff. Hopefully didn't do anything bad for security to stop you. This was my lazy way of not making another shop. Don't mind that. It's fine. So this was the kind of the gates, and then if we go over here, got some more shops. You can see we did not have much stuff to decorate with then. Not a whole lot. It was a little bare. But, you know, it got the job done back then. It was complicated doing these big builds back then, but I think that was one of my favorite challenges and why I wanted to do YouTube in the first place, was inspire other people to do these really exciting things in this game. And I continued to do YouTube even after I started working on the game as a developer, just because I love playing the game and seeing it from the player perspective. I feel the struggles when you guys do, and I know what tools you would also like, because I would also like those when I'm making stuff too. We will go down through one of the gates. We'll just jump down onto the runway. So you can see out here, I needed different numbers. So I had a good laugh. At the time, FroggyHopz was very popular. So I did 1738 because it was the first two set of numbers that came to my mind. So, you know, there's that. Then this was the baggage, kind of the behind the scenes. These were the rental car areas. It looks like someone brought a car right inside. So if you need to rent a car, you're very close. Very nice. And then you can grab your luggage that was made out of boxes. And then over here was a little parking garage area. So it was beautiful. It was a very fun time. I also remember, fun little fact about this one, pretty sure I had some hidden rooms because I used to play hide and seek with people. So I added different secret locations to hide from other players that I was hanging out with. You know, because I had to be the winner. So I don't know that it worked, but it at least increased my chances. So, yep, the plants are dead. The plants used to wither, regardless of whether or not you bought them in build mode. So that was big sad. But we eventually changed it where if you bought them and placed them down, you do not need to water them. So very fun. All right, that is the airport. So very fun. Love the limos out front. I am going to load my other plot here. All right. All right, so unfortunately, I'm going to be heading out here. I'm going to go start the fireworks. And we'll just kind of watch it. And yeah, we'll do this. Actually, we'll clear up the sky real quick for everyone. So here's our beautiful firework display. So take this in as kind of one final memory with our beloved map. So again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm gonna start my really fun outro music and give some old Froggy vibes for all of you. There we go. Now we got some music going. At least I think. It's very low on my end, so hopefully you guys hear it. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I thought it would be just fun hanging out with the community as some of our final moments on this. And yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow. I am so excited about it, and I hope you guys are too. Make sure to join us at 10 a.m. Pacific time or whatever time is local to you. And yeah, I will maybe stream again one day. I don't know when that'll be. So there you go. The music's turned up a little bit too. Hopefully you guys can hear it now. But thanks again. I will see you guys tomorrow. And I hope you guys enjoyed the update. Make sure to let us know what you think on all the socials. And we can't wait to see your feedback. Until next time, see you guys.